Hey, everybody. We've got a really large group today, and I can see that people are still signing on at a kind of rapid clip. So I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes here before I start into the presentation. Okay, well, it's 3 minutes after the hour, and I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I do see that more people are still coming in, um, but they can't make any noise when they come in, so we'll just go ahead forward. All right, I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for attending. My name is Pamela Topper, and today we're going to cover how to use the enhanced email feature in the Nexternal platform to customize your order-related emails so that they best reflect your brand's voice and messaging. This functionality is available to all of our customers at no extra charge, and it's in your order management systems now, and you'll see that as we go through the presentation today. I want to apologize in advance. This webinar is likely to go 25 or 30 minutes instead of 15. But if you have to skip out midway, we're recording it, and a link to the recording will be available in the training center in your OMS. So you can watch it there either to catch the rest or to review it if you need to. Also, while I'm on apologies, I probably should mention I'm just getting over the plague. So forgive me if I clear my throat and cough a little during the presentation. So today I'm not going to take any questions during the presentation because of the time constraints, but you're free to reach out to me or your account manager after the presentation, and we'll get back to you quickly over the next few days. My contact info will be posted at the end of the webinar, and you can find your account manager's contact information at the top of the settings section in your OMS. So today we're going to cover which 7 emails you can customize, the general breadth of the possible customizations versus the previous limit so that you can really see how much more you can do with this feature going forward. I'll show you how to turn the feature on, how to use it, and we'll run through some tips for success at the end. So which emails can you customize? With the enhanced email functionality, you can customize most of your order-related emails, which are the automatic emails that are sent by the system when various order-related triggers occur, if you have them turned on in the Boolean options section of the OMS. So, for example, an order confirmation email is automatically sent when an order is placed. For those of you who are using the custom club or quote functionality, you'll be able to modify the pending order notification email, which is the equivalent of the order notification, but for a pending order waiting to be activated. The ship notification, that's the email that goes out on the date you set when you mark orders as shipped. Ready for pickup emails are generated when you mark pickup orders as ready for pickup. Order cancellation emails are sent when an order is canceled. Gift certificate recipient notifications are sent to the recipients to let them know that someone has purchased a gift certificate for them. And order updates, which aren't really automated, but you can manually trigger these from within a specific order. Plus, we're going to be adding a lot more emails to this tool. So over time, more and more emails will become modifiable, and that's a good thing. So now let's talk about what customizing you can do. I could talk a lot about the differences, and I will talk a little in a minute, but I honestly think this picture is worth 1,000 words. On the left is the standard default order confirmation email without using enhanced emails. This is actually what most of our customers are using today. On the right is the default enhanced email before any editing is done to it at all. Obviously, the logo on these emails would be yours and not my T, and the products would be yours, but everything else would pretty much look like what you see here. And I think you'll all agree that the enhanced email default on the right looks a whole lot fresher, cleaner, and modern, and is also a lot easier to read. So without enhanced emails, you can edit only the first and last line of the email, and you can't really change that formatting of the email at all. With enhanced email on the right, you can modify all of it. Well, except that table in the middle, you can include the table or not, but with a few exceptions, you can't really change the presentation of the product and price table there. Don't really know why you want to, but anyway, everything else is removable, modifiable, or you can add stuff. Without enhanced emails, you can't change any subject lines, but when using enhanced emails, you can change them freely in all the 7 emails. So for those of you already using the system, you also might know that even without enhanced emails, you can add global addenda to these emails, the standard emails, back in the settings section of the OMS. With enhanced emails, the whole concept of global addenda goes away, and instead you'll just be adding whatever language you want right to each email. So it's more intuitive and user-friendly because you don't need to leave the email section to write what you want the email to say. Now, with regard to product-specific addenda, those still are accommodated, and I'll show you that when we get to the templates. For those of you who don't know what those are, product-specific addenda allow you to add language to an email only if that product is purchased. That functionality has been preserved. It's still on the product level, and it doesn't change. So let's take a quick look at the steps to get this cranking. Basically, you're going to review the default for each email you plan to use. We design the defaults with most merchants in mind, so you might like them just the way they are and not want to monkey with them. Remember from the last slide I just showed you, even if you don't edit those at all, those defaults are a big improvement over the standard defaults. Then if you want to make some changes, you'll edit the email templates in a WYSIWYG style editor, customize the common header and footer, which apply to all the emails. You'll preview and test each email as many times as it takes to get it exactly the way you want it. You'll save your work, and then you'll activate the functionality so the system will use the templates that you've created. So now I'm going to take you to the OMS to actually see the functionality. I'm taking you to Topper Industries Order Management System, and I've navigated to the layout section there. And I'm going to scroll down in the layout section until I get to email layout and enhanced email layout. Now the email layout has been around for a long time. That contains the standard functionality that people are using now. It's the enhanced email section that we're going to focus on today. And as you can see, there are 2 buttons here, Edit Templates and Edit Settings. When you first come to this functionality, always start with Edit Templates. And after you've set up all your templates, then navigate to Edit Settings, where you can make a couple more tweaks if you want, and then finally, that's where you'll actually activate the functionality. You don't want to activate the functionality before reviewing the templates. It's critical to note here that once you enable enhanced emails, the enhanced emails will become active and will override what's previously been sent, before you activated. So it's really super important that you at least read the new default templates and, customize them if you want before activating the functionality. Again, you might actually choose to use the defaults as they are. We think they're in really good shape. But even in that case, you still need to click Edit Templates, which I'm going to do now, to load and review them, and only after that, activate the functionality. So here's how to edit the templates, and this is what I mean by a WYSIWYG style editor. And as you can see, each of the 7 emails is in its own tab at the top and has its own default messaging in it. Notice that the copy in this email consists of a combination of regular text plus predefined keywords. Those are the ones in all caps with underscores between the words. And what they do is they pull database information into the email when used. Now today we're going to focus on the order confirmation email as an example, but no matter which tab you're in, it all works the same way. So when you click on preview, now notice that you got a bunch of words here, you got a bunch of keywords. When I click on preview, you're going to see how these keywords translate into an email. The keywords are pulling info from the database and saying, make this display in the email. So you can see what it'll look like if you use this default combination of words and keywords. So now let's take a little bit deeper dive. Close preview for a minute. As an example, take a look on the order confirmation email default that we're looking at here. You see the keyword, for example, order invoice table. That translated into the actual table where you saw the products and the prices in the email we just looked at. The order shipper logos down here, those produce the UPS logo and language at the bottom of the email, if you noticed that. Remember that the keywords pull in data from other fields throughout the database, so it's really important to understand how that works. If you put a keyword in an email template and the field it reaches out to has a value in it, then it'll show up in the email. If there's no value in the source field, then it'll stay blank. Then it just won't have any effect on the email at all. So here, for example, with these three product-specific addenda, order additional comments, and order PayPal button, these elements will show up on the email only if there's a product-specific addendum, or if there are comments on the order, or if the customer paid with PayPal. If those don't apply on an order, they just won't produce any results, even if the keywords are included in the template to cover the situations where they might apply. For example, if you offer both PayPal and credit cards as payment options, with this order PayPal button keyword here, the PayPal button will show up on a PayPal order confirmation email, but it won't show up on a credit card order confirmation email. So here's the really important lesson in this. We've crafted these templates very carefully to address every situation. If you start monkeying with the templates, which of course is fine, that's what they're here for, you need to carefully think through every circumstance to which an email might apply, and don't just willy-nilly delete keywords. Same example, if you offer PayPal as a payment option, don't delete the keyword just because maybe people don't use it very much, or you forgot you offer PayPal, and usually, people pay with credit cards. You have to accommodate every variation of order that could come through the system and make sure that the email is prepared to handle all of them. So here's the rule. You need the keywords if they apply to any situation, even if they don't apply to every situation. It's a lot safer for you to edit the regular words and add keywords than it is to delete keywords unless you're sure that a keyword will never apply. So if you don't offer PayPal as a payment method, then no PayPal orders will ever come in, and it's safe to delete that keyword because it's never going to apply to any of your orders. So again, this is just a bunch of words and keywords. When I click preview, it shows you what these things translate into when they pull the database information and display it in the email. So on this side of things, I'll just show you that here's, for example, the order number where we had an order number keyword. Here is the order invoice table where we had that keyword in the email. And at the bottom here are those the order shipper logo that I mentioned where that keyword was used. You don't see a PayPal button or additional order comments because it wasn't a PayPal order and there weren't any additional comments on the order. So, and if they were, then those things would show up. So if you don't want something to show up in email, just delete it. Like for example, let's delete the order shipper logos because we saw those in the email. We'll delete those. And now we'll hit preview. And you can see that the UPS logo down here is gone. Once you've previewed it and verified it, see how save lights up in red? It's reminding you to save your work, because if you just do a lot of work and don't hit save, you're going to lose your work. So we're going to save the work. Now, if you want something here to show up in an email, just add it. Typically, that'd be regular text. And again, If you're not a new user, but you're transitioning to enhanced emails from the standard and you've used the global addenda in policies, addenda, and disclaimers in the settings section, you need to take that language out of there and put it here in the email. Those will not carry over from the settings section on their own. Only the product-specific addenda will carry over. So notice you can also change the subject line at the top. Here's the subject line, and it also uses keywords as well as regular words. So let's just say we wanted this to say thank you for your order instead of confirmation. We'd just type it in, thank you for your order. And now we'll preview it. Always preview before you save. And we can see up here at the top that the subject line has changed. It says what I want it to say. Great. Now I can save my work. So it's important to note that every time you make a change, you need to hit the preview button like you see me doing, because it is really super important for you to check your work throughout the editing process. Now, in addition to the preview button, there's this test button at the bottom down here. When you click it, the system auto-generates a test email to your address, and the contents will be what you've entered in the template, whether or not you've hit save. So you really ought to do this before you save your work. When you hit test, it'll tell you that a test order confirmation was sent to you, whoever the user is that's using it. In this case, it's me. That's how you can see the emails in an email client, which is also an essential test, not just in the preview pop-up, before you save them and take them live, just to make sure that, you know, the formatting and everything looks good in the wild. By the way, I should mention 2 things about testing the emails this way. Well, 3 things actually. First would be do it. Again, don't ever skip preview and testing the emails. You'll regret that if you skip that step. Second, while those test emails usually come pretty quickly, they may not come immediately, so be patient and check your email periodically if you don't see the test email right away, but wait for it, don't skip the step. Third, to send the test emails, the system uses order data from an existing order of the type that's relevant to the email that you're working on. So for example, if you have any orders in your OMS at all, you'll be able to test an order confirmation email. But let's say you don't have any gift certificate orders in the system. Then if you try to preview or test the gift certificate, let's go try that together. You'll see what it does. If I try and preview it or test it, it's going to say no candidate order is found. It can't do a test because there's no data in the system for it to pull into an email. So to preview and test each type of email, you may need to place a relevant test order in your system if you don't have one there already. They can be test orders or live orders or real orders, it doesn't matter, but the order has to be there in a and it can't be canceled. And when you're done previewing and testing your emails, again, don't forget to hit save. I've already done that, so this isn't lighting up in red, but it will, and you save your work. So now you're probably wondering where that logo at the top is coming from and the little mouse type down here, the small print in the footer, since they're not on the template. It's a good question, and I'm about to answer it. We call those the header and the footer, and those are modifiable too, entirely modifiable. And the great thing is you only have to do those once. You don't have to do them separately for every email. So it streamlines your work, and obviously it ensures consistency in your branding, which of course is key here. So to access the header and the footer, you click what I call the little hamburger down here in the bottom right corner. And when you do that, at the top is the header, the bottom is the footer, and you can see both text and keywords here, just like in the emails. So for example, the store logo here, which you saw in my previous previews as that red T at the top, that's the store logo that you probably loaded into your settings during your onboard. And if you didn't then you can certainly do it now, so it'll show up here. Now, one thing I want to show you is this interesting horizontal rule keyword. These emails are not HTML formatable. And so we've given you some keywords to do some formatting. So this will actually create a thin gray line across the bottom of the email. I'll point it out when I open a preview again. You have to use the keywords and not HTML in this editor. The other thing I want you to notice about this is that there's no preview or test buttons on the header footer page, just a save button. So when you make a change, You just want to save it right away. So let's say you wanted to add a byline to your logo. We'll add your one-stop shop. Okay, and maybe you want to style that a little bit. So I'll highlight that and I'll italicize it with the WYSIWYG editor. You know, just sidetracking here, for purposes of the webinar, I've kind of assumed everybody knows how to use an editor like this, but just in case, I'm going to run through this for a second. This top bar is how you style the words that you've got down here in the editing window. So you highlight the words you want to style, and you know, style it the way you want. You've got bolding and italicize, underline, and strike throughs. You've got quotes. You've got text size selector. You've got a hyperlink. You've got a way to add images. You've got a font selector and some highlighting and copy color and that kind of thing. So if you don't know what these are, you highlight them and they sort of tell you what they are, but if not, just try it and you'll know what it is. Anyway, to preview your edits to the header and the footer, you'd save them here. And then you'll go back to an email where you'll hit preview, and you'll see there's your header change. Here's the horizontal rule that I pointed out before. It's just a thin gray line across the bottom, or wherever you put the keyword. So this would probably be a really good time to point out that if you're messing around with the editor and you decide you don't like all your edits and you just want to start again, there's a default button at the bottom here. When you click default, it erases what you've done and puts the defaults back in so you can start again. So I'm going to do that now, and you'll watch things show up here. You'll watch my subject line change. It'll go back to the defaults. Now, don't forget to hit save, because if you don't, what you did is going to be in there and not the defaults. So now let's take a look at the list of keywords that are available to you for editing all of these emails, because those are the meat of this, right? Those help you pull in all kinds of data that you want to put in these emails for each of your customers. The keyword list is viewable when you click on the key icon in the bottom right-hand corner. And when you do that, you see the whole list of keywords. And I'm not going to go through the whole list in detail with you, except a couple of highlights. But in general, just notice that the keywords are on the left, the definitions of what they are and where they're located in the database on the right. So for example, like store phone, the store phone is the configured customer service phone number, and you can set that phone number to whatever you want in settings, general information, customer service phone. So there's a few notable items here. The store keywords, these are really the ones you're generally going to want to use in either the header or the footer. You're free to use them wherever you want, of course, but the header and footer probably make most sense for those. Now, the order-related keywords, these are pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go through them all, but I do want to make a comment on order invoice table. The order invoice table is a key component to any order-related email. That's the table where you saw the products, the prices, etc. So while you're able to remove it from any email, we strongly caution against removing it in most cases where we've included it, since these are, after all, order-related emails, and it's nice to show the order in those emails. So scrolling down, I'm going to talk about these funny-looking things in shipped, ready, sent keywords. Shipped sent syntax and shipped sent syntax upper, and yes, I had to practice to say those without stumbling. These sound weird, but they're super important. I guess the bottom line is I really want to strongly recommend that when you see these in the defaults, don't delete them. There's really no reason to include them in any other templates. The reason they're written this way is that the shipped email in our system serves three masters. It either has to say your order has shipped, your order has been picked up, or your gift certificate has been sent, depending upon which type of order it's referring to. So using these weird keywords ensures that the correct syntax is used for the correct situation. So if you delete them, the emails are going to be really wonky. They're not going to know what to say. These syntax keywords are basically saying use shipped when appropriate, use pickup language when appropriate, and use sent language when appropriate. So just keep them in there where you see them. Customer keywords, all pretty self-explanatory, but the loyalty keywords, these are where I get excited, and I'll tell you why. For those of you using our loyalty points module, you weren't previously able to include information about how many points they have or what dollar value those points are in your emails. And with these keywords, if you want to add that information to your order confirmation or shipped emails, you can. So these constitute not only enhanced email functionality, they're also an improvement in how you can market and execute your loyalty program if you're using our loyalty module. So the gift certificate keywords, pretty self-explanatory. Pending order keywords, these relate again to the merchants who are either using the member choice club functionality or the quoting system. And here's two formatting keywords. We've already gone over horizontal rule. We also offer you line break. Just remember, these are not HTML formattable. So these are the formatting that you can do in there. And of course, you've got the WYSIWYG formatting editor as well. And if you're confused about what a keyword means or the definition isn't clear to you, just go ahead and plunk it in a preview, in a template, hit preview, and it'll show you what it means. So you'll see it. So now let's assume you've gone through the email templates that apply to you, you've modified them to your satisfaction, and you've saved all your work. Once that's done, then it's time to navigate back to the layout section so you can get to the other button that we looked at, Edit Settings. So we're going to go ahead and hit Layout, and I'm going to scroll back down, and instead of hitting Edit Templates where we just were, I'm going to go ahead and hit Edit Settings. And when you click that button, you're going to see two sections here. In the bottom section, you can modify some of the styling of that invoice table if you wish. I really can't imagine making major changes here, but you can do what you want here. If you do choose to tweak the table, to see the results of those tweaks, you're going to need to go back to the template editor and then hit preview of an email containing the invoice table, and you'll see it in that preview. You can also modify the email background color or even use an image, although we actually strongly recommend white for almost all merchants, unless your image is like a faint watermark or something like that that ties in with your brand and website. But anyway, when you're happy and everything is complete, then you want to activate the functionality. And you do that by checking this box up here that says Use Enhanced Email, and then you hit Finish. This activates it and tells the system to use the enhanced emails instead of the old system defaults that you were using up until then. So now I'm going to take you back to the PowerPoint for 10 tips for success. I bet you know what the first one is already. Don't forget to review the defaults and complete and save your template customizations before activating the feature. After you've activated, now let's say you've been using this for a while and you want to modify a live email, remember that you can edit and preview without messing up the live email. Don't hit save until you're ready. And when you are, then you hit save, and then it makes it live and replaces the live email, the older live email with the one you've just created. 3, if you don't know what a keyword means or does, don't despair. Just try it in a preview and you'll see what it does. 4, don't forget to include the invoice table in your emails. You're able to delete it, but we recommend that you don't. We talked about the shipped sent syntax keywords. Those are best left alone and not deleted. Number 6, don't delete keywords lightly. Remember what I said earlier. You need the keywords if they apply to any situation, even if they don't apply to every situation. Remember that it's safer to edit the regular words than it is to delete keywords unless you're absolutely sure that a keyword will never apply. We've taken the time to think through every possible scenario, and if you start deleting keywords, be sure you do the same. Now, number 7 is something I didn't mention earlier. In the template editors, you can actually drag and drop images into the editor instead of using the editing icon at the top that I showed you to load the image. The problem with drag and drop is that most email clients strip them out. And even if the email client you're using, say Gmail, for example, doesn't strip it out, Outlook or Apple Mail might, for example, so your customers might not see what you see. So we really very strongly recommend that you not drag and drop your images, but instead use the image embed icon that I showed you at the top of the template editor. Number 8, don't forget that if you're transitioning from standard and you have entered email addenda in the policies addenda and disclaimers area of the settings section, You need to put them in these emails. They won't carry over. Product-specific addenda on the product level will. Number 9, what have I said a million times already? Always preview and test your email templates thoroughly. I cannot stress this one enough. And then number 10, last but not least, save versions to your hard drive. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you run a specific promo 4 times a year, once a quarter, and you want to include different language in the order confirmation email when the promo is running. Instead of recreating the wheel 4 times a year in your email template editor, you can copy the contents of an email template once you've completed it and paste it into a text file on your computer, so you can just copy and paste it back in whenever you want. There is no archive for multiple email versions in a single store design, so just save them on your hard drive in a text file. Now, if you do that, you'll have to restyle them in the WYSIWYG editor to put in your bolds and your underlines and whatever else you wanted when you after you paste them back in. But you saw how easy that is to do, and at least you won't have to rewrite them from scratch. Now, if you have multiple skins in your store, and most of you don't, and most of you probably don't even know what that means, but if you do have multiple skins, you probably know it. For example, if you're using the store for multiple brands and we utilize the multiple skin method for styling, which we don't always do, but if you have multiple skins, in that case, you can associate different email versions with the different skins. This is really specialized utilization of the software, and you can talk with your account manager about how those mechanics work. I just want to note that not all stores that reflect multiple designs are using the multiple skin method of design. So if we need to engage our design engineers to make this work for you in a multiple skin scenario, hourly charges will apply there. Well, that's really all I've got. I apologize we've run over time, but I really wanted to make sure you're good to go after watching the webinar. I want to thank you so much for attending and let you know again that we've recorded the webinar and we'll post a link to it in the training center in your order management system. So if you want to watch it again for review or you know someone who missed it, that recording will be available to you probably by tomorrow. Also, watch for future training webinars on various topics. We're planning on doing these a lot more regularly. Thanks again, and everyone have a great day.